Good morning. It's January 3rd, 2022, and this is my first live walk of 2022. I didn't walk over the New Year's weekend because of other things, but now I should be back on a daily schedule, I hope. And it's a bit warmer. My last walk was on Friday when it was minus 34 when I went out, and this is warmer. Minus 19, or about zero, or a little below 0 Fahrenheit, which may sound cold, but it's a good 30 some degrees Fahrenheit. It's about 30 degrees Fahrenheit warmer than it was on Friday when I went out. So it feels quite warm, relatively speaking. We'll see how it goes as I walk further, of course. Starting with something in my eye, that's always annoying. I am going to start with the external mic and see if maybe it works now. I don't like the sound when it's just the camera mic. It can be alright for a while, but then it comes and goes and it picks up a lot of wind noise and stuff. So keep an eye on this. This is Monday, so that means it's the day I walk along the creek. So that's what I'll be doing. I hope everybody had a happy New Year's celebration and are looking forward to a better 2022 than 2021. Let's hope. Exciting year for me because I'm expanding Shadowpaw Press, my little publishing company. I've acquired 2 novels from other authors I'll be publishing this year, at least those 2, maybe more. We'll see how it all goes. And of course I have my own books. Lots of writing to do, lots of editing to do, all that kind of stuff. Partly sunny today. We're supposed to get some snow tomorrow, which means there's snow shoveling in my future, since we have a bylaw that requires us to shovel our sidewalks within 48 hours as of this year. I'm going to go over. What am I going to do? No, I guess I'll go up here and get on the dike as usual. So I haven't been around as much. Nice and still. So I did some work over the weekend on Shadowpaw Press website, and Shadowpaw Press now has an Instagram account if you want to follow it at Shadowpaw Press. I'm on Instagram too at Edward Willett Author. If you're an Instagram user, you can follow me there. The other thing I did over the weekend was a new podcast episode. So there's a new episode of the World Shapers podcast featuring internationally best-selling author Michael Brent Collins, who writes in a variety of genres. Everything from horror to romance, young adult, middle grade. It's a very interesting conversation, so I recommend that too. As I now work in my 4th year of the podcast, that was episode 100 that went up yesterday, which is, if you told me I'd keep going that long back when I started, I might not have believed it. But there we go. Seems like I just started. Seems we just get started, and before you know it, you're doing your 100th podcast of them all. So as I said, I'm already in my 4th year, and I'm about to have the Kickstarter to hopefully fund Shapers of Worlds Volume 3, which will feature authors who were guests during my 3rd year. Well, so far I have not seen a external mic disconnected warning, so it's lasted this far. I've never understood why the external mic spoke too soon. Just like that. Just as I said it. Literally, as I said it, it disconnected. I'll connect it again if I can. Madeline and Victoria reconnected the external mic. We'll see how long it lasts this time. Or I'll just unplug it and carry on, although I might leave it plugged in and dead because it doesn't kill the sound. That's literally just as I said, well, it hasn't disconnected yet. It disconnected. Had a bit later today, so the sun's well up. It came up about 9 o'clock. I think tomorrow is when we get the latest sunrise, right around 9 o'clock. And then the mornings will start to improve. Aha! There it goes again. So is it something to do with the cable? Okay, I'll try one more time. This time I'm going to let the cable hang free, so I'm not holding it, which I was, because that, although it was doing it with my wireless ones too, so I don't really think it's got anything to do with the mic. Okay, well, we'll go a little further. If it quits again, I'll unplug it completely and we'll just rely on the I can't have it down. Anyway. Aha! Maybe it isn't the cable. Somewhere down here in the cable. Because again, as soon as I tried to stop it from flopping around, it disconnected. Ah. We'll try one more time. This time, I will absolutely keep my hands off of the cable and let it flop all at once. Let's see if that makes any difference. I think I'll walk along the dike on this side to start today and kind of reverse my sometimes flow of the walking. Oh, there it goes again. Okay, I'm unplugging it. It's clearly just not going to work. All right, well, this sound is, I mean, it works. It's not as good, but it works. Who said hello? Hi, Sanjay from India. Welcome to the walk. It's minus 19 Celsius. But mostly sunny. I'm walking along Wascana Creek here. This is Cameron Street, right here. Regina Avenue on the other side of the creek. You can probably see some kids up here tobogganing this morning, I would imagine. There's people with dogs. I've seen several. Although maybe schools are back in session, I don't actually know. Turning. See if there's anybody out tobogganing or if the schools have restarted. Creek, of course, is frozen. My daughter went ice fishing yesterday, Lost Mountain Lake with some friends, which basically consists of sitting in a hut with bait dangling holes in the ice, waiting to see if any fish take the bait. None did. So it was 3 hours of sitting in a tent on the ice. She said it was fun. So you see there's a lot of tobogganing happens here, but yeah, there's no kids out, so there just aren't any kids or school has restarted. I wouldn't think it'd restart today. Maybe later this week or tomorrow even. With New Year's falling on Saturday. But since I don't have a kid in elementary school, you can see people have walked across the creek there. Could do that. Do I want to do that? A little steep. I don't think I want to try without having a hand free. Somebody asked me to walk on the creek or on the lake. Hi, Lucas. From Brazil, as I remember. And lots of people walking on the creek. Look at all those footsteps. You do a 360, you need a special cam. And it's usually on like a stalk that you hold over your head. I've seen it done, but I don't have the equipment for it. And even the people that do it seem to do it just once in a while. That's a kind of a special treat. I don't think you could do that with an ordinary iPhone. I don't see how you could. I'm sure you couldn't because the camera only points one direction. I've been all over the ice. It's tempting. Not very tempting though. Bundled up quite as much as I was when it was minus 34 on Friday, but my face is getting cold, so I may want to raise my scarf a little bit here. Wind's coming from that direction, so it's blowing on the side of my face, and when I start walking home, it'll be right in my face. Yeah, I may have to do that right now. So give me a moment. I'm gonna have to take off one glove, I think. I'm gonna snap up my hood to keep my face warm. So if I sound muffled, that would be why. Hard to do with one hand too. No. I don't know if I can. Not sure I'm strong enough to do it with one hand. Well, I may not be able to do that at all. I could even get one of them to snap. Oh, maybe. Almost. Yeah, there we go. There's one snap. There's two snaps on the bottom of my hood. No, what did I snap? Oh, there's another snap. Yeah, I never do this one. That might be easier. Wait a minute. What did I snap it to? Snapped it to the wrong thing. That's why it was so hard. Oh yeah, there we go. That'll keep my face warm. Now I gotta get the glove back on, which is also not easy because I just covered up my mouth so I can't use my teeth. There. That's fun. You can sort of see where people get on the ice. Over on the other side, it's a much lower bank. Oh, someone's cleared the ice down there for skating, which I believe is not technically something you're supposed to do, but people do it. People have gone down right here. But again, with one hand not free, I don't want to try going downhill on this side. My balance is off carrying this thing in one hand, so maybe we'll get down there, maybe come down from the other side sometime, maybe even when I come back. We'll see. Hi, Roger. See, someone's created a skating rink there, or a skating surface. As I said, my daughter was ice skating yesterday. The ice on Last Mountain Lake was, well, she didn't really know, but at least a foot thick, probably more, 2 feet thick maybe. She didn't really know, but it was thick. I've driven on frozen lakes more than once in Saskatchewan, back when I was a newspaper reporter, taking pictures of people ice fishing. But ice fishing itself never really appealed to me too much. It's another place where lots of people have gone down the ice, gone down onto the ice. It's quite beaten down. That might be the place to do it. Morning. There's a pretty good walk down there, but then there's nowhere to go except along the ice. I'll think about it for the return trip. No good place really to cross here. Well, maybe I could do it on the bridge where the snow is not piled up as much. Otherwise you have to climb the... We'll go this way. Too many cars coming. We'll go up to the proper crosswalk. Still have to keep an eye out, especially in this weather, because somebody doesn't see you or they're a little slow braking, they could slide into you. So still want to be careful crossing, even at the crosswalk. Which doesn't stop people from hitting you. It just means if they hit you, it's their fault. What that's worth. This is College Avenue, if you're following along on Google Maps. Senior Center there, Activity Center. Bulkwell's Civic Arts Center over here. There's the Regina Art Gallery in it. A small gallery, civic owned, city owned. Actually, I think I'll go over here and go up this street because I don't normally do that. Sure, there'll be a beaten down path through the snow here between the parking lot and the street. Not for the cords. Not technically supposed to string them across the sidewalk, but people do. Sorry for the sniffing, but cold makes your nose run. I think they're saying 2 to 4 centimeters tomorrow, possibly more snow. It continues to pile up as the winter goes along. We don't really have a lot of snow in Saskatchewan compared to some places, but we do tend to keep it all winter, so it piles up. I mean, there certainly are midwinter thaws, but they don't usually last long enough to lose much snow until you get to spring. This sidewalk on this side is not cleared down by the park, so I'm going to cross over here. I'll walk down this side. Hi, Miriam. Happy New Year to you in India. First walk of the year. I expect I'll be back more regularly than I was over the holidays when it was pretty hit or miss, but I did a few. I did make sure I did my walk around the lake on Friday, even though it was minus 34 that morning, with a wind chill of minus 47 Celsius. Wind chill was well over minus 50 something, minus 52 I think Fahrenheit, if I remember right. Ah yes, I remember it well. So today is 16 degrees Celsius warmer than it was on Friday. And 30 degrees warmer Fahrenheit than it was on Friday. And it's still cold, but not as cold. Long-range forecast, it gets up into single-digit negative temperatures, which will feel balmy. That's what it was yesterday, and it felt really warm. I should have walked yesterday because it was warm, but I had too many other things to do. Timing just didn't work out. My desktop computer is giving me fits. It's taking forever to do things it shouldn't take forever to do. So my podcast took way longer to pull together than it should have. But I'm looking at getting a new desktop. This current one it'll be 7 years old this year, which is a long time in computer years. think are even longer than dog ears. I need a new one that works reliably and quickly, because this is going to be a year when I expect to really crank out new stuff in various forms. So time is money, or at least productivity. Unfortunately, not nearly enough money, but productivity-wise, time is productivity. See, whoever owns this property is, by the new city bylaw, responsible for having this cleared after every snowfall within 48 hours. This one hasn't been cleared, it's just been beaten down by people walking on it. They say they're not going to crack down too hard this year, mostly just give people warnings, but next year you'll start getting tickets. I think it's up to $150 or something, if I remember right. The extension cord. Cars are plugged in because they have block heaters in them to keep the engine block warm. Makes them easier to start. We had one that was plugged in and didn't start yesterday, but I have a feeling the block heater may not be working, which would certainly explain that. Batteries seem to have plenty of juice. The car just found it too stiff to turn over. Sort of like an old person in bed in the morning, just too stiff to turn over. I should know, because I'm getting there. I've literally pulled a muscle rolling over in bed. I mean, nobody tells you about that when they say happy birthday for the 60-something time. I hear a siren. I hear sirens and there's no cops there. Don't know if that's a cop or a fire truck or an ambulance. They probably all have different sirens, but are they on the blue van? Or are they coming by me? There you go. Police car, unmarked police car. Oh no, ambulance. It's looking at the wrong vehicle. There it goes. It actually was on Pasco, not on blue van. Another non-cleared sidewalk here. Well, I guess it's kind of cleared right along here, but that might have been done by the snowplow. I don't think it was done by the property owner. Definitely not. They have not cleared their sidewalks at all on this corner. That much is clear. The ambulance stopped just down there a ways. Right down there. It's pulled in by 7-Eleven, around that corner anyway. Well, not going that way, but this is Sask Express over here, as I mentioned before, former school that's now home to a performing arts company. And they also do classes for kids, musical theater and drama, dance, all that kind of stuff. Planning to go all the way over to the Italian club and then back along the creek. snowplow down there. Front end loader that's not really a front end loader. Not really a snowplow either. A small shovel, mechanical shovel. I'm good. Hi Jay. AJ. AJ. I'm good. How are you? Welcome to 2022. Now, I wonder if they've cleared these paths in this little piece of park or not. Hard to know. Let me get on the sidewalk here to start with. House for sale. Another extension cord to watch out for. See, there are paths. There should be a path right past this intersection on the other side that I want to get on. See how clear it is. This is 14th. I can tell because there's a sign that says 14th. So I just know. Here's the path. It has been cleared. Good. It's much easier walking on a cleared path than trudging through the snow. If I had to trudge through the snow and not on a path, these walks would be way shorter. Looks a bit like a Christmas card. Here, AJ. I know somebody named AJ, but it's initials that they use, not the actual name. And that could be Ajay. I don't know how you pronounce it. In your case. My right knee is bothering me a little, but we carry on regardless. This is the corner of 13th Avenue and Louvain, so we'll be crossing the Louvain, which is a north-south arterial road, which the speed limit is quite a bit higher than Calvert Street. Fewer stop signs, no stop signs, fewer stop lights. And across here, once the light changes, definitely not jaywalking across Louvain. I don't know if that did anything. Oh good, we timed it pretty well. There should be a left turn signal. Oh, there's not. We just get to go. Oh, good for us. Perfect timing then. We'll continue along 13th here a little ways. And then climb up on the dike and head back along the creek again. It's a city property, so it better be cleared. If you're going to make a bylaw that forces everybody to clear within 48 hours, you darn well better make sure the city property is cleared. Sidewalks. city sidewalks, scraped of all their fresh snow. In the air, there's a feeling of frostbite. People shivering. People hurrying. Because cold's such a low blow. As the wind starts to blow, there we go. And on every street corner you hear, it's so cold, it's so cold, it's way too cold in Regina. Okay, that's probably enough of that, because unfortunately nothing really rhymes with Regina that you want to use in that kind of song. Now if we pronounce it Regina, would that be any better? Not really. Nothing really rhymes with Regina either. Not a proper rhyme. I guess you could think like Catalina. Regina, you have to do something. Nothing could be finer than to be in Regina in the winter. That works. It's as good a rhyme as in the actual song where it's rhyming finer with Carolina. So Regina rhymes with Carolina. There you go. It's exactly the same rhyme. Mina bird rhymes with Carolina. But we don't see a lot of mina birds here in Regina. Otherwise, you just have to do weird things like Alina. Italian accents might help. I broke my spine in Regina. That's more Transylvanian than Italian. But anyway. Blech. Happy New Year in Vancouver. Whoa. Careful. I want to start 2022 by falling down. All right, so up on the dike here, this is the Italian club over here, speaking of Italian accents. Hey, I'm at the most happy fella in the whole Napa Valley. In the whole Napa Valley, the most happy man, that's me. I played in Italian in that show, The Most Happy Fella. One of my favorite roles ever. It's been a long time now. I guess it was 97 I did that part, because I think it was the year we got married. It's a lesser composition, as the old joke goes, meaning it was by Frank Lesser, who also wrote Guys and Dolls, among other things. Loesser, not just Lesser. Could have been pronounced loser, but I can understand why they didn't go that route. Well, not a lot of people have climbed up here, but there's a bit of a path broken down. Oof. Oh, good. Got snow in my boot now. Went a little too deep. Okay, that's the off-leash dog park. Curling rink over there. And there's the prairie. I think there's only a similarity between Italian and Transylvanian when I do the accent. I think is all that really proved. I want to drink your blood. I wanted to drink your blood. It's not quite the same. Sounds less threatening when an Italian says it. I suppose unless it's in The Godfather, and it could be quite threatening. Nice business you got here. I want to drink your blood. There's the creek again. Done a few accents in shows. I did a bad Austrian accent, but it was okay that it was bad because the character wasn't really Austrian, he was pretending, so the fact he had a bad accent was a joke. The aforementioned Italian. I've done Irish. I was told I sounded Irish, but not as if I came from the part of Ireland that the character said he did. But I figured, as long as I hit the island, I could live with it. That was in Who Has Seen the Wind, which is a classic Saskatchewan novel. This was in a stage adaptation of it I played. Both Uncle Sean, who was from Ireland and had the accent, and the father, what was his name? He did not have an accent, because he'd been here longer, which really didn't make a lot of sense, because they were presumably both born in Ireland. Maybe it was his wife's son. Was the uncle? Huh. I don't know. I don't think so. Anyway, that was a fun show. That was in the summer I'd done Tent Meeting in Rosthern, which was a great show because it was gospel music. I grew up with that stuff. Gospel quartet music. And then because of that, which was directed by Tibor Fehergazi, who was the artistic director of Persephone Theatre at Saskatoon, he said, "You're a very good actor." And he hired me to be in Who Has Seen the Wind at Persephone. Only one of 2 Persephone shows I've done. He asked me to do another show the next year, but we were having a baby, and I said, "No, I'm going to stay home with my wife." And he never asked me again, so, I guess he thought I had my priorities in the wrong place. But then I did the first show in the new theater in Saskatoon, Beauty and the Beast, at Christmas in 2007. So those were about 7 years apart. And those are the only shows I've done in Persephone. Here's the creek. But it's not like I auditioned very much, so I'm not going to get roles if I don't work at it harder. And honestly, I enjoy it. It's a huge amount of fun performing. Far less fun rehearsing, especially if you're away from home for weeks at a time, which is what it would mean to be a professional stage actor full time, even if you could get the work. And I've got so much other things to do. I did do a lot of writing while I was doing Beauty and the Beast. That's when I wrote Terra Insegura, the second book in my Double Helix, it's called when it was collected under an omnibus duology. Which means if you read Terra Insegura, which you can get in ebook form, it's harder to get in print now. Ebook's readily available. Many of the characters are actually named after actors from the cast of Beauty and the Beast. Christmas 2007 in Saskatoon. Little known fact. It's a golf course over there, par 3. And we're looking towards airport that way. Well, we are looking towards airplanes, but you can't see any. Not as well cleared right along here. And the ice, the wind is definitely a bit sharp now as I turn back to the east. So I'll have to keep that cheek covered. It's currently getting stung by the wind. I guess I've done a Scottish accent too, but I really don't know how good that was. You got to get it back in your throat, that's what it's got to go. Way back in there, that's what makes the difference with a Scottish accent. Oh, and a long time ago I did a North England accent. Like the Beatles from Liverpool, that kind of a sound. And I was complimented on my Scottish accent by the adjudicator at the competition we were at, which makes me think I missed it by a few miles. Right, now we go under the Luverne. Follow Follow the snowy white road. Follow the snowy white road. Follow, 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 follow the snowy white road. They don't clear it very well right under the bridge, I have noted before, but it gets enough traffic, it's fairly beaten down. Less snow and the ice under the bridge, of course. That's the right-hand lane, well, if you're going south. This is the northbound lanes. There's the creek again. At least the temperature is not so cold that the gimbal has given up the ghost, which is what happened on the two coldest walks. It just went, I'm not working in these temperatures, and shut down. As did the iPhone, because it's battery drained. But again, it's a good 30 degrees Fahrenheit, 15 or 16 degrees Celsius, 16 degrees Celsius, warmer now than on Friday when the iPhone gave up after 45 minutes of cold. So although I'm sure the battery's going down faster than normal, it should last me for an hour here. Ball diamond getting very little use at the moment. There's a weir there. It's all frozen up. You can see kind of a bit of frozen waterfall there. Their dog. Letting their dog run around, I guess is a good way to put that. There's the Pasco Street Bridge coming up. There's some canoes not getting a lot of use at the moment, which they use those for schools. They go canoeing on the creek. It's part of phys ed. My daughter did it. My daughter actually did a weekend canoeing trip in northern Saskatchewan, which was really cool. With a teacher from Luther College High School. I've never done that, so that was cool. As I said, she went ice fishing yesterday. And over here, there's less snow. You can actually see how smooth and frozen the ice is. Should be a good place to get on the ice if I wanted to. I'm not sure how easy it is to get out again, so I think I'll stay off it for now. Got all winter to walk on the ice if I want to. Oh, sorry, someone said, hi Mohammed, Happy New Year to you too. This is as far as they cleared it. Going under the bridge, it's just left to pile up. There you go. I suppose it's easy enough to get down there and get back up again. I could go down just for a minute onto the river. There we go. Now we are on Wascana Creek, which I've never walked onto before. The snow is actually deeper than I thought, so I really don't want to walk down here. But you can, but it's hard going. There you go. Not exciting? Standing on the water, watching all the dogs go by. That's a song from the aforementioned Most Happy Fella, except of course it's standing on the corner watching all the girls go by. Brother, you don't know a nicer occupation. Matter of fact, neither do I. And standing on the corner, watching all the girls, watching all the girls, watching all the girls go by. I didn't sing the song, but I kind of know it anyway. Well, having gone out there, I now know I definitely don't want to walk on the ice because the snow is deeper than I thought. It's going to be really hard work for a significant distance. And don't worry, the ice is probably 2 feet thick, maybe more. In fact, that close to the shore is probably frozen to the bottom. In fact, the whole creek may be frozen to the bottom. It's not very deep. The lake doesn't freeze to the bottom because they deepened it a few years ago, because it was. But now the deepest part is something like 9 meters. So it does not freeze. That allows fish to overwinter, if they weren't able to before. They had to stock it every spring. Morning. And a dog walker. Oh, look. Comment bot. They're out too. Ignore them. Anytime you see that kind of a comment, it's coming from a bot. Trying to convince you to click on the link. I don't know who'd be stupid enough to click on a link that some random bot put up in the live stream of a guy in Regina. But anyway, don't click on it, or don't put it in. You'd have to take out the space to click on it. How long have I gone? 52 minutes, so this will be well over an hour by the time I get back. It is slower. Like, that walk I just did should have taken me an hour all the way back to the house, or just a little over. And I'll be at least 10 minutes past the hour. So, certainly has added a few minutes to the walk just because of the footing. Also, I was fiddling with a microphone for a little bit. Tried to use my external mic again, but it quit 3 times and I gave up. I'll try the wireless one again. I imagine it'll do the same thing. It seems to be a problem with either the iPhone connection or the app, the live streaming app. I could just record one without using the app, then it'd be just the iPhone camera. See if it stayed up. That would tell me if it's an app problem, I guess. There's another dog. Morning. Again, this road curves purely for aesthetic reasons. Shortest distance would be straight that way to the Edward footbridge. How do you know it's not a natural forest when you see straight lines like that in the trees? Can't really call it a forest. Part of the urban forest, but it's a park. A train in the distance. look a lot like January everywhere you go. And the snow covers up the ground. There's a little raccoon to be found. People go a-walking kind of slow. It's beginning to look a lot like January. Ice on every street. But the slipperiest thing of all, and the stuff that'll make you fall, is the ice beneath your feet. Hey, that one was pretty good. For extemporaneous composing. Had to cram in a few extra syllables. Basically a folk song, and as Tom Lair's famous song about the folk song army goes, and see, how does it go? Well, it starts, we are the folk song army, every one of us cares, we all hate poverty, war, and injustice, unlike the rest of you squares. Anyway, there's a line that says, in a folk song, it doesn't even matter if you have to put a couple of extra syllables into the line. It sounds more ethnic if it ain't good English, and it don't even got to rhyme. Tom Lair. If you never listened to Tom Lair, I recommend him. He's all over YouTube. You can find him. Harvard mathematics professor. His heyday was the early 60s. A lot of his biting songs of satire still bite pretty good today. And some are just funny, like he set the periodical table of the elements to music. And he's got one about new math, which is now old math, but it's better than what they taught in my daughter's school. His introduction, he talks about how new math, it's more important that you understand what you're doing than that you get the right answer. Whereas in real math, it's very important you get the right answer, or your bridge will fall down, or your plane will explode, or your spacecraft will miss Mars or hit Mars. Here's a famous example where they confused imperial and metric units. I smell wood smoke. Just got their fireplace going. Probably that one right there. They have a big chimney anyway. It's actually a duplex, that one. Another view of the creek. I don't know why the city doesn't clear this path. Why they clear the one leading up to it, and they clear it on the other side of the bridge, but they don't clear this, which is just as much a part of the path as the others. I don't understand. The government moves in mysterious ways to screw up everything that it does. Yes, if you've come through COVID with the opinion that governments are all benevolent and know exactly what they're doing, you have way more faith than I do. And I was brought up in a very religious house. Our faith was not in the government. I don't understand faith in the government of any stripe. I just hope they get a few things right to make up for all the stuff they get so horribly wrong. Actually, that wood smoke smell is getting stronger, so... Oh, it must be coming from there, that shack. I wonder if they're having smoking, like if they're smoking meat or something in there. That must be what it is, because that's a very strong wood smoke smell. I don't know what other purpose that little shack there would serve. Well, that's not where the smell's coming from. It must have been one of those houses I passed, and that's something else. What'd you say? I don't know what that little shack is if it's not a smoking thing. That was the only obvious smoke. Okay, we go across Elphinstone Street, Elphinstone Street, Elphinstone Street. Across Elphinstone Street. It's no longer early in the morning though. Rather late in the morning. Nobody playing horseshoes either. Alright. A little bit further. Look out over the baseball diamonds. Again, this is perfectly well clear. Why don't they clear it on the other side of Elphinstone? Why do they then start clearing it again once you get across the footbridge? Why not on the approach to the footbridge? Inquiring minds want to know. Jim Young Field. I knew a Jim Young, but I don't think that's named after him. He was not connected to baseball that I'm aware of. He was our treasurer for many years with Regina when I was first on the board back in the late 80s, into the 90s, through the 90s really. I was on the board for a very long time. President twice. And therefore past president twice. Now it's called Regina Lyric Musical Theater. Hi, Colleen. Well, yesterday was nicer than today is, but compared to Friday, it's really nice. As I said, good 16 degrees warmer this morning than it was Friday when I walked. 16 or 17 degrees Celsius, 30 degrees warmer Fahrenheit. Because it's 0 Fahrenheit instead of minus 30 Fahrenheit. It was on Friday. Go up another 30 degrees, it would almost be melting. Or would be, depending on exactly what the temperature is right now. I would have watched yesterday, but I just had too many other things that needed doing, and I just ran out of time. And I didn't want to go out in the dark at supper time, or after supper or anything like that, so should be back on a more regular schedule going forward now, with, always possibilities of exceptions. I did a lot in a row when I first started. What did I think it was? 200 maybe? Close to it, without missing a day. And I missed a few when we went to St. John's. Then I was pretty steady for a while, and then on the holidays I skipped a few because it was the holidays. But I'm back, and I'll be back. I'll be back. You be Mozart. No waterfalling in the waterfall park. Doo-dah, doo-dah. It's got a nice rhythm to it. No waterfalling in the waterfall park. Doo-dah, doo-dah. At about the hour mark, I start to think, I'm ready for this to be over. So right at the hour mark, and I'm ready for this to be over, but it's not quite over yet. I've already been down on the ice. I'm not going down again. Snow's too thick. Really hard to walk down there. I prefer a cleared path. There's where the waterfall would be falling, if Waterfall Park kept waterfalling. much water would a waterfall have if a waterfall did have water? Almost back to the footbridge. I walked on the dike, so I'll go down to the street level to walk back, I think. It's a little nippy again as I come around the corner here, and the wind is finding my face in a way it wasn't while I was more sheltered. And the days are getting longer. Sunrise is still basically hasn't budged. It's at 8:59. But it'll start to budge the other way now as of January 4th. Evening's already getting lighter. Bit by bit, bit by bit. Putting spring together. We watched Sunday in the Park with George. Sondheim musical this weekend. We have a DVD set of Sondheim shows. It's the version that was on PBS. Ooh, the 80s sometime, I guess. Art isn't easy. Every minor detail is a major decision. This is true of whatever form of art one partakes in, or creates, I guess is a better word. We also watched Tick, Tick, Boom, which is on Netflix. It's a musical about Jonathan Larson, by Jonathan Larson, who wrote Rent, but died of an aneurysm the night before it opened. Never knew that it ran for 12 years on Broadway. Really hugely influential on Broadway musicals. He did a rock monologue version of Tick, Tick, Boom, one night only. Then after his death, it became an off-Broadway show. And Lin-Manuel Miranda has made it into a full-blown movie musical starring Andrew Garfield, and it's really good. I highly recommend it. But at one point he's watching Sunday in the Park with George. Oh, I do have a low battery warning, so even though it's warmer, the iPhone is still complaining about the cold. Because there are many parallels between Sunday in the Park with George and Tick, Tick, Boom, which is about him trying to finish this musical that there's going to be a major workshop of. And well, he's under pressure from his girlfriend. And lots of other pressure. So it is about the challenge of creating art. Dealing with day-to-day concerns as well. So they tie together very well. And I recommend them both. What's the time here? Who's that? Hitchum? It's good question. 11:15. a.m. obviously. $11:15, and there's a house I've watched being built on these walks. 11:15 and minus 19 Celsius, which is going to be the high today. It's just not budging all day. Not getting all that much colder overnight either. Minus 23, I think, is the low tonight. But then we got some more fairly cold days this week. And then there's a bit of a warming trend after that. Could get up warm enough I can do this walk in just my leather jacket and not my parka. Let's see. Here's where I fell down on November 11th. Right here, on this very corner. Lightning doesn't strike twice in the same place, right? Right. If you go back and watch the November 11th video, the first of two, at the very end, I go plunk. Roger. You're saying something. I can't read it, but I know you're saying something. A good solid walk. Those wishy-washy walks. That's right. Once I walked around the lake at minus 34 in the dark on Friday, I realized there's really no excuse not to go out no matter what the weather's doing. Barring a rainfall or heavy snow or something that might, short out the phone or the gimbal. But temperature-wise, it's not going to get appreciably colder than that, so as long as you dress for it, as somebody said, there's no bad weather, only bad clothing choices. Someone commented on a previous video, or actually the photo of me after the video with my face mask covered with ice. There's no bad weather, only bad clothing choices. And you know, somewhere like the Antarctic, and they have even heated clothing, which we certainly have the capability of making. So you just space travel too. There's no such thing as a deadly vacuum, just poor clothing choices. Nobody's paying attention. I'm sure there's a rule about not putting your extension cord across the sidewalk. Needs must. Although you didn't need to plug it in last night. Unless your car is really puny. Just a couple of more blocks. Maybe 45, but that's as high as the sun is. So we still got a ways to go to the equinox in March, and then the solstice in June, when it will be officially summer again. One and a half blocks to go. Who's counting? I often point the camera down the back alleys because that's Book Perot territory. Famous local artist, well known for painting the back alleys of Regina. He edits out the modern blue recycle bins and the brown garbage bins. His alleys usually have the really old style with like a wooden frame with two metal cans in it. We still got a frame like that at the back of the house from many, many years ago of garbage collection. Ours isn't wood, it's made out of metal because my granddad's grandfather owned a metalworking shop. So we have several metal things that were made by him, or his shop, including the front railings on the house. We will stop at this stop sign up here. Unsnap my hood to begin the process of cooling off because I'm quite warm. Angus Crescent. Home sweet home. or it's on this crescent. I don't actually live on top of the stop sign. Okay. Thanks for walking with me as we start 2022, and I will be back. Bye for now.